Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a wonderful Mother's Day. Tonight, we are here to talk about the all important topic of retention. Topic of the hour. We get so many credits for retention during this Leaders Retreat contest. And so I know everybody wants every single tip they can get their hands on. So I'm really grateful tonight for Autumn and Jessa to share what they're doing that is working. And because I know it takes time to prepare these things and think through your processes, and then just your willingness to be generous with your accumulated wisdom and experience and what's working for you right now. Okay, so we are halfway through the month and we have double credits all month. So I hope that you are capitalizing on that opportunity, because we're not going to have double credits anymore in this contest. And I want all of you on the cruise. So retention, why is it even important? Let's just start there. It's one of the 4 pillars. You guys hear us talk about the 4 pillars all of the time. And retention is one that just doesn't usually get enough attention. It's not, for most people, the funnest part, the shiniest part. You don't get a lot of recognition for it until you start ranking up, and then you get a lot of recognition, right? So this pillar, it's a non-negotiable if you want to build your business toward your next rank. It's important that you keep your customers happy and getting the results that they signed up for. And our products are helping a lot of people. They truly are. And we have tools and systems in place to help you provide great customer support and help your customers get those results and fall in love with their products. And it's up to you what you do with those things. Okay. So we're focused on the 4 pillars. I don't know if you guys have noticed a pattern over the last couple of months with how we've been doing our team calls, but we are starting each month with a strategy call for the month, and giving you guys an action plan and a game plan so you know what to focus on. And then the second Monday, we're talking about recruiting, and we're highlighting people who are doing that pillar well. The third Monday, we're talking about retention, and we're highlighting people who are doing that well. And the fourth Monday, we're talking about duplication, and we're highlighting people who are doing that well. So tonight, we're talking about retention. And I actually went and asked some of the people on the team to go and calculate their retention numbers, and so that I could highlight them on tonight's call, and they can share with you what is working really well for them. And if you are curious about how to calculate your own retention numbers, let me just tell you real quick. It's very simple. Go to your virtual office, go to my business, go to points and rank up, and then you're going to sort your downline by join date. And I think you have to click the join date column. Maybe if you click it twice, it'll sort newest to oldest. And then you just go back and look. Well, we're in May right now. So go back. If you scroll back to see how many level 1s did you have join in March that still ordered in April, that would give you your 30-day retention. So let's just say in March you had 6 joins, and in April 5 of them ordered. Then you would 5 out of 6, that's 5 divided by 6, which is, what is that? Somebody tell me. 5 divided by 6 it's 83% retention for 30 days. Okay. And then if you wanted to know your 60-day, then you would go back to February, count your level 1s who joined in February and who still ordered in April. And by the way, you have to change the date on the report. Make sure you are looking at the right date for this to be accurate. But anyways, that would give you your 60-day retention. If you want 90-day retention, go back to January, see who joined in January that still ordered in April. That would give you your 90 days. So these ladies who are sharing tonight, they have great retention numbers, and they had some good tips. And I talked to several more people who also had great retention numbers and great tips, but I just had to go with 2 of them for tonight. And the other ones I am saving. I will be calling on you at a future date. Okay. So, Jessa, you're going first. Tell us what you're doing that is working well for you. What are your processes? How are you keeping your customers happy and getting results and ordering each month?
Hello, ladies. I feel like what I do is really simple, but maybe that's because it kind of goes well with my personality. I like to talk. So I have the retention system in the Doe app, which just tells me exactly what message I'm supposed to send to what person on what day. And I sometimes do it in voice clips, sometimes, and I always ask someone, do you want me to text you or do you want me to do messenger? Like, and I try to contact them in the way that they prefer, which is you're a lot more likely to get them to respond that way. If I never check my messenger, then that's not where I want to message that client. And so I will do my regular Doe messages, but I don't just copy and paste. Like, I'll take that message and I'm like, hey, I know last week you told me your daughter was going to summer camp. How'd that go? Or whatever. Like, I try to really, really connect before I just throw Plexus out there if we don't talk more often than just the follow-ups. And then I try to do voice messages. I have tried to get people on the phone. I don't always succeed as much as I would like, but I do really well with voice clips. And then I throw in a lot of gifts. Like, if they do anything exciting, if they're like, well, I might have slept better last night, maybe, I'm not sure. I'm like, I'm throwing in some super fun gift that acts like that is a big deal, because it is a big deal. If you only sleep better one night, that's one night that's a big deal for you. And so I just try to really play up anything they say that's good. Let's see. And then I do small talk throughout, like when they're not popping up on my Doe, if they're up on the top of my messenger feed, or if I think about them throughout the day and they're in my text messages, hey girl, how is so-and-so going? Or, hey, I know you said you had a big thing at church this weekend. How fun was that? Or, I really saw your Facebook post yesterday. That looked super exciting. So that when they see my name pop up, it's not just, oh, she's going to ask me about Plexus again. Like, I want to build a relationship with them where they trust me enough to tell me that, their stomach's been upset today, or they've had a headache, or I've been really stressed in my life. So I don't know if it's Plexus doing this or if it is stress doing this. I want them to feel comfortable talking to me. And then I also, if they say, oh, I'll have detox symptoms, because that happens and that's good. That's not a bad thing. So I have several detox graphics that list out possible symptoms. And then I have a couple of detox videos. So I will send them that detox video while I am steady celebrating in voice messages. If they complain about one tiny thing, I am in a voice message or on the phone, wanting them to hear how awesome it is that this is proof it's working. Here's a list of candida die-off things that can happen when we start killing that nasty stuff that's causing whatever they were, starting this for, the heartburn or the fatigue, or, whatever it is that they started for. I'll kind of scroll back to the top and figure it out. And then I'll tell them, this is what was causing that. This is proof we're killing it off. This is super exciting. And I just make it like a win that they're having this symptom. I know this kind of stinks right now, but girl, there is gold at the end of this rainbow if we just keep being consistent. And then I also am super excited for any small wins. Like, if they tell me, girl, I've already lost 4 pounds this week. Well, of course we're celebrating that. Everyone celebrates that. But I also tell them when we're celebrating that, girl, we don't expect anything big like this happening for 90 days. So the fact that you're seeing this already is huge, because I also don't want her telling all her friends that she dropped 5 pounds in a week, because they're going to start and expect to lose 5 pounds in a week, which they may not. So I try to keep it realistic, even when they do have super big wins. And I feel like so far that's working more. And I just recently started doing these things in the last probably 4 or 5 months, trying to switch it up from just Doe, because I didn't like my retention rates. And it's definitely made a difference in my retention rates.
So good. I'm not cutting you off, am I? Was there anything else?
No.
Okay. All right. That was so good. I loved everything you said. I love, first of all, that you're using the retention system. So if you're new here and you don't know what that is, we have a system in Plexus Freedom Team that tells you exactly what to say to your product users on exactly what days. And Jessa saying she has the whole system stored into, like, programmed into her Doe app, which that's a paid app, but you can get that and it will just send you reminders to send this message to that person on that day. It's just a great way to keep all your customers and all your prospects organized. So I love that you are, like, you're using the system, first of all, but it was also a really, really good tip what you said about just checking in between the check-ins with relationship building. That way they know that you care about them as a person and not just because they are your customer. But really good tip about looking at who's like at the top of your messenger for like who's online or whatever, and then just checking in personally. That's a really, really good, Jessa. And that is definitely why your retention has risen. And then I love that you said that you have that detox graphic handy so that you can just shoot it to them and, you know, celebrate the detox symptoms and the healing that's taking place in their body. So great tips. Thank you for sharing all of that. All right. If you have any questions for Jessa or Autumn, type them in the chat, because at the end, we'll come back to them if we have time. All right. Thank you, Jessa. Autumn, how about you? Share with us what you are doing.
All right. Well, thank you so much for asking me. I have to say that I was kind of surprised because I didn't feel like I really did anything particularly special or unique. But then after you asked me and I started to think about it, I thought, well, there are some things that I think I do that do give really good care to my clients. So I'm gonna share that. So first of all, I use the retention system, which, you know, it already works. So let's just use it. I have tweaked it a little bit. And as I've gone through doing this business for about a year now, I found different things and different things on the gut health and happiness that I like to post, you know, tag them in along the way. I like to also be paying attention to what their symptoms and what they came to Plexus for, so that I can, if something comes up and I'm reminded of them, I'll go ahead and just tag them. And it's not even really part of retention. It's just trying to keep my clients' needs kind of in the back of my mind. So if something comes up, I can just send it to them. And I do my retention on a big giant desk calendar. So there's the big, I wanted it to be separate from dough in case I got kind of like behind in some of my dough stuff for my reach outs and my follow-ups. I wanted my already established clients to be like on a whole nother thing, so that I definitely, if I have a day where I get behind on other things, I don't get behind on my retention. Also, the first thing that I do on day one is I send out a sample of something to them that they didn't order. So if they order Triplex and they haven't tried Active, I'll send them a sleeve of Active. If they, you know, do have Active and not Slim, I'll send them Slim, you know, something like that. So, or a different flavor. And I just put it in a card, and I have these little bubble things that I send it in. And it's a bit costly, but I feel like it gives them an idea of what else is available. You know, I mean, we're helping them place the order, and so they might not know everything else that's available through Plexus, and we kind of want them to, you know, be having an order every month, so have something else, you know, that they're interested in. And my retention that I have right now carries me through on my big desk calendar about 7 months. So beyond that, I'll be checking in just like monthly as things kind of come up. So that's what I do with that. Let's see, I got a few notes here. The second thing that I think that has contributed to my good retention numbers are my newsletters. And I started doing those pretty early on. And I didn't really have any clients that had like, you know, like I didn't have anybody, you know, that I wanted to put in a newsletter right away. So I used Kayleen. So I asked Kayleen if I could put her story in my first newsletter, and she let me do that. So it was my first newsletter back in August of last year. And it's completely from scratch. My husband helped me with that one. And then I've done 3 more since then. So I have my own clients now who have their own success. And I think one of the things that keeps my clients excited is that I'm reaching out to them and asking them, do you want to be in my newsletter? And they've seen my newsletters come out and, you know, encouraging and showing people's progress and stuff. And so that kind of excites them. Even if they are hesitant to do it, they know that, you know, I'm paying attention and I'm proud of you and you're doing so well that I want to offer you to be in the newsletter. And maybe if you don't want to yet, maybe think about it for down the road. So I've had 2 of my clients who've been in my last 2 newsletters. And I want to say too that my husband helped me make my newsletters from scratch, which was really hard. Like, it's just, but I found a lady who has them already as a template, and I wanted to say, because it was really helpful. Her website is called Christy creates for you .com, and she has Plexus Content Bank VIP group, and she has all kinds of graphics. I print them out for my sip and sees that are so beautiful. And so the Plexus, the newsletter template that she has already had like the product of the season and the specials and stuff, and I just tweaked it and put my own things in there. So that was really, really, really helpful. All the graphics, and it was already beautiful. So that's the second thing, my newsletter. And then I have one other way that I think is really helpful too. I started a walking group called the Way Walking Group, and it was just something that the Lord put on my heart. I don't really walk. When I when I do my exercises, usually I like to be by myself with the doors shut and just do my exercises. But I felt the Lord put it on my heart to start something that kind of like involved other people. And so it was one of my ways that I reached out to a lot of my clients and to people who weren't my clients yet. And I've invited them to walk with me Tuesdays and Thursdays around the perimeter of our church, which is about 2.5 miles. So I started a group me chat for that. And a lot of my Plexus people come out, and people who aren't with Plexus yet come out. And it's a great way to keep up with them. You know, they'll talk to me about how they're doing, and we'll troubleshoot, or we'll just be like praise reports. And then the people who aren't with Plexus yet are listening and asking questions. So that's been a great, you can just get so much more done, like, you know, progress when you're talking to somebody face to face in a casual kind of setting. So those are pretty much, I think, what leads to my really good retention rates, and I hope that helps somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. Alden, so helpful. Thank you for sharing that. So first thing I have to point out is, again, she's using the retention system, tried and true. Okay, so you guys have heard that overlap. And not just on this call, but on the last call that we did about retention, same exact thing. Those ladies with high retention were saying, we use the system. And then they add to the system. So I was going to ask you how you were keeping your stuff organized, but then you showed your desk calendar. And you know what stood out to me about your desk calendar, Autumn, is that you said, I keep this separate from my other work just in case I get behind on my other work, this doesn't get lost or buried. And that tells me that you are highly prioritizing your retention work, that you really, really value the people who are spending money with you, they're entrusting their health to you, then they are looking for results, and you are prioritizing those people. And that to me says a lot. So I love that. I think it's super generous of you and very strategic also to send people a sample of a product they have not tried yet. I think Active is a great choice because they're going to notice a result from it as soon as they drink it, and it also tastes really good. So I think that's a very strategic. And the newsletter. Everybody wants to know about the newsletter. I think that's brilliant. Is that an email that you're sending out or something you're sending in the mail?
I send it in the mail. I mean, I thought about sending it in an email form, but I just feel like it's going the extra mile to put it in an envelope, print it, put it in an envelope, send it, pretty little stamp. You know, we get a lot of junk mail and bills, but we don't get a lot of like personalized things anymore. So that's what I do.
Oh, I love it. You're making yourself stand out. I love it. And then the walking group. So that's your form of relationship building. Same thing that Jessa said. Jessa is doing the same thing, but in the Jessa way. And you are relationship building too in a way that is unique and individual to you. But the principle remains, and that is care about people, connect with people on a personal level, as well as serving them with their product. So I just thought that was awesome too. And I'm just seeing themes that are overlapping. So thank you so much for sharing. Very helpful. So I have a couple of questions for you guys. Jessa, we'll start with you, but I want to hear both of y'all's answer to this. What results are your people seeing on their products? and how does that make you feel?
I have some of both ends of the spectrum. I have, well, really all three ends of the spectrum. I have some that are like, girl, this is my second drink. I swear my life has changed. Like, what is in this stuff? And I'm like, well, that's awesome. Like, I'm glad we're feeling wonderful on day two. And then I have some that are like, okay, I have a headache, or I have, like they're having detox symptoms that I have to like really encourage them. And that used to be really hard for me in retention. Like, as soon as someone had a negative, that was really hard for me. It took me a long time because I am, to be so red, I am so yellow. So like, I really care about how they're feeling. And then I realized that I'm still in control of that conversation. That's not a negative, that's a positive. And as long as I continue to show them how positive it is and be positive about it, then it will be positive. And then I have some that are like, okay, we're, a week in, we're 2 weeks in, we're a month in, I kind of feel the same, I think. And those are easy ones for me because I told them all right from the rip, we are giving this 90 to 120 days before we expect to see anything huge. There's probably subtle things happening under the radar that you don't really notice. You're probably sleeping a little better, but not noticing. Or you're probably going to sleep a little easier, but maybe not noticing. Or maybe you have a little more energy than you used to have. Just because you're not being super self-aware about something doesn't mean it's not happening behind the scenes. So those are easy for me. It was the detox symptoms that I had to learn how to, like, the way I viewed it differently so that I could help them view it differently.
Okay, cool. So the ones who are having great results, what are you hearing from those people? Like, what all results are people getting?
I have had, in the last month or so, I had somebody that was like 4 days in, and she's like, is it possible that my skin can be clearing up while I'm sleeping better and having more energy in 4 days? Like, is that a thing? I'm like, yeah, it's a thing. Like, your blood sugar balance was probably real crazy beforehand. So you're probably feeling real good right now. And so I have had quite a few, probably 3 in the last few months that are like, I mean, as soon as they started, they're like, my skin's better, my brain fog is better, my energy's through the roof, I'm sleeping better. And then I had 2 that have had, I'm talking like crazy constipation. One of them goes about once every 2 weeks and thought that was like, okay. And so it did take me like a week and a half of extreme measures to get her going. And now she's like, oh my gosh, I go 2 or 3 times a day, every day. I never look pregnant anymore. Like, what? I mean, and she's been like this since she was a child. So, I mean, that, like, I really like, that is to me why I super love doing this. Those people that have been 14 to 35 going once every 2 weeks, feeling miserable and bloated. And now a week and a half in, you're regular, which affects so many other things in your body automatically. She thinks she's, hit the lottery or something.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, Autumn, how about you? What kind of results are your people noticing, and how does it make you feel?
Well, I mean, it really just confirms that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. When I get those great conversations or those text messages, again, like what Jessa was saying, like people who've been struggling with stuff for so long. I have a mentor of mine who, she was in the first church that we started going in when our kids were little, and she had IBS terribly, and just kind of came to me as a last resort, came to Plexus, and it took a long time. I was worried that, my belief was kind of like, I really want this to work for Amy, and it did. And then to hear her on our walks just talk about being able to, do the things that she enjoys doing and being able to feel better and just go on the walk with me, it just makes me feel so good. It makes me just so glad that I, am sharing, and I'm following up, and I'm putting myself out there, my reputation out there, and people are actually trusting me. So, yeah, I mean, I've had people, like a Revelation Wellness coach around here. She signed up with me. She eats wonderfully, like really healthy lady, but had terrible allergies, just allergies bothering her all the time. And the ease has just been a total game changer for her. And she's just like floored. So, and then also too, a lady got Joyum for her mom, and I thought that was really sweet. And her mom is loving it, and she's taking pictures of her face and sending them to me. So, I mean, these are just really just great boost to my belief and to the feeling that I'm called and to do this, and that when people are feeling better, they're able to fulfill their purposes, that God put them here on earth for. So I'm a part of that, and that just feels really great. And then there are times too when it's like it's a slow process and people are having detox symptoms. I just met with a young woman this weekend, and we had to kind of pull her and her husband back a little bit on some of the bio cleanse and things, because she was, she's just had twins, and she's like, so it's like, but I try to build enough rapport and trust with them where they don't quit. So that's my goal.
Yeah, I love that. And that is where the relationship building comes in. That is what it takes. That's so good, Autumn. All right. So, Jessa, you already touched on this one a little bit. So I'll go to Autumn on this one. But what do you say when somebody is coming to you saying, I'm not noticing anything, or I feel the same, or it's not working yet? Or how do you respond to that, Autumn?
Well, there is that great post with the train it's on the Gut Health and Happiness, and it's on the Plexus Freedom team, and it talks about what generally happens at 3 months, at 6 months, at 9 months, at 12 months. Then there's the one from, I think it's Jessica Hugendorn, the realistic expectations. So we try to from the get-go with my welcome calls with Becca and Kayleen, just really set a realistic expectation that it's going to take, we usually say like 3 to 4 months before you really, feel it. And it could happen earlier. I mean, like some people do start to feel stuff right away, but we want it to set it, that this is we're healing from the root. So I like to tell people, like, this isn't, get past the idea that, like we take an Advil and 20 minutes later our headache's gone. This isn't it. You're getting to the root of things. So I try to help explain. I sometimes probably over explain because I'm a teacher explainer at heart. So, but yeah, that's what I try to do.
So basically you are underselling and over delivering. Like you're setting people up for realistic expectations, and any result they notice before then is just like a bonus, icing on the cake. I love it. All right. That's really smart. Okay. And then there was, I saw one question in the chat. Somebody asked, what do you do when people won't respond about, like, you're checking in with them about their products and they don't respond? What do you do with those people? Jessa, you can answer this one too, either one of you.
What I do is I will send another message assuming that they opened it and forgot to respond, or assuming that, if it's on Messenger, you can see if they opened it. So if they haven't opened it, they're not ignoring you, they haven't opened it. But if I've sent a message or two and they have not responded, I will start liking and commenting things on their page a little more heavily. And I will try to I will look for something to talk to them about that is not Plexus. Like, just get them talking to me again for any other reason. If I normally send them things in Messenger and they haven't been responding, like, I'll text them about that really cute outfit she put her son in today. Like, where did you get that? That is so cute. Or whatever, just to get her to respond to me. And then I will try to carry on a conversation with her completely unrelated to Plexus. And then when I feel like I have got her talking to me good, I'll be like, oh, hey, I know the other day I messaged you and I don't think you saw the message yet. Where is this at? Or whatever. But then they're already like dead in combo. So they kind of have to answer you or be awkward.
Or be awkward. I love it. That's so good, Jessa. All right, Autumn, do you do anything different, or you start psycho Facebooking like the rest of us do?
Well, I think for me, looking over my list of clients and the ones who haven't responded, they're usually not on Facebook. So I kind of have to do some in-person sort of, not stalking, but like putting myself where they are, if I can, like at a women's, ministry event or something like that, and just trying to, or like if they have a friend, who I know knows them, I'll be like, how's so-and-so doing, and then maybe I might hear that they were out of town, or they've had a death in the family or something like that. But I actually have one lady who I signed up, and she has never responded to me. Never. I've emailed her. And so I just keep sending the retention. It's on my calendar. I just keep sending it to her. So I'm hoping. My mom lives in the same town as her, and I said, Mom, if you see her, I want to get in touch with her.
I love it. Okay. That's good. So it does happen even to the best of us, right? I've had people that I have signed up. One time I signed somebody up, and she was so excited. I spent like an hour on the phone with her. She was so excited, and then went in to check in with her on day 3 and realized she had not only unfriended me but also blocked me. And I'm like, what did I say wrong? I said the same thing to her I said to everybody else. So I mean, it does happen. It does happen. But for the most part, people. That's not most people. But if that has happened to you, as long as it's not like half your people, because if it is, that's another conversation. All right. Last question. We're gonna let you guys go. But do you have like a go-to tool? I know there's some questions in the chat about like what's your favorite detox video that you're sending, and then Autumn, you also referenced earlier like you have kind of added to your retention system with gut health and happiness. Like you have some go-to things you tag people in. What are your go-to tools, and how are you keeping your tools organized? Do you have like a toolbox or anything? Like how are you duplicating yourself with, your tools, your go-to tools and systems?
Well, I mean, for me, I have my whole retention system in a note. So it's all right there. If I want to tag them in something, I'll have a little note to myself on like touch 3 or touch 7 or whatever, tag in this or tag in this detox one, or I'll have the actual YouTube video link right on there. So it's just all ready to go, and then I customize it for them. So that's kind of how I work it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just wondering how you're keeping it all organized and your go-to tools and stuff. Jessa, do you have anything on how you are keeping your go-to resources organized?
I have like notepads and notepads and notepads and notepads in my phone. Like I have a billion notes. So I have like new ambassadors, new joins, first 30 days, detox, whatever it is. And then I have subfolders in them. So like I send different triplex videos depending on the person. Like I might send Abby's, or I might send Jessica Hugendorn's or Christina's, like depending on their personality and if I think they're green or yellow or red. So I mean, I do that with everything. I have different detox. Like I have the one that Plexus put out. It's like a 2-minute one. I have Jessica Hugendorn's, and I have them all saved, but I'll have like red, or I have like dashes by them that tell me like, this is going to be your video for reds. This is going to be your video for people looking for more info. This is people looking for third-party validation. This is people looking for what have you. And then I kind of do the same thing with like gut health and happiness. If they need a little boost, like if their psoriasis flared up and I'm trying to excite them that is a detox symptom, I'll go find a psoriasis example in gut health and happiness and forward that to them to show them like, here's someone who flared up extremely bad, 3 months in, but then it was never again for the rest of his life. That's totally worth it to kind of show them what is coming or what can come.
Yeah. All right. That's really good. Okay. Well, ladies, this was incredibly helpful. I do want to add that the Boards app, there's a lot of chat about it in the chat. But it is a life-changing app. It will help you keep all of your toolbox organized and I mean, you can use it for anything from text to images to links, and it is life-changing. It seriously is. So if you're not using the Boards app, that's a very helpful app to have on your phone, and it's free. But anyways, Jessa and Autumn, thank you ladies both so much. These were incredibly helpful tips, very, very valuable and profitable information that everybody on this call is benefiting from. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom and experience with us and what's working for you guys. So incredibly grateful for you guys, and this was all really, really good. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, ladies. All right, y'all have a good week. We'll see y'all Thursday for book club. Bye.